Good evening. So it seems as though something has led you to the campsite of the Orator. Well, as you can see, I've stoked the fire, which means it's time for you to pull up your chair and settle in, because tonight I have another tale to tell. It's midnight in a small town in Poland. Two young lovers walk about the town totally alone. There are no people, no animals, and they're just enjoying themselves. They're talking, walking, laughing, enjoying their strange but fun date night. But that all suddenly changes when they hear a sound, a ringing, a buzzing in the air, and then suddenly they both see something straight out of a nightmare. But before we begin, if you find yourself enjoying this kind of content, first-hand true accounts of the supernatural, paranormal, things that go in the night, then allow the spirits to guide your chat to like and subscribe, as well as the notification bell. That way you get notified every time I upload new content. And I do longer videos twice a week, Monday and Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Second, of course, all of my stories are true first-hand accounts of the supernatural and paranormal. Today's story comes from us from Redditor Pastel Nizik, and I will make sure to link the original story below. But if you or somebody you know has a story and you think that it would fit well on my channel, just reach out to me on any of my social media and we will find a time to collect your story and potentially one day feature it here on The Orator. And now, with all of that out of the way, let's get on to today's tale. It is a story that I call Midnight in Poland. Jan is 19 years old, and he was born and raised in this small town in Poland. The population's only about 17,000 people for the entirety of the town that he lives in. And so for Jan, it's a kind of a quiet, boring place. Nothing of significance ever seems to happen in this town. Nothing great and adventurous, but also nothing bad or scary or terrifying. It's just sort of a calm, simple town. And so one night, Jan is out with his girlfriend, Anna. And it is late. It's actually about midnight. And for the last couple hours, they've been hanging out. They went out to dinner, and then they went on their date. And now they're just sort of walking and talking about the town. They're going down the sidewalk, and they're just having a conversation, laughing, having fun. And it's really a great night. It's nice weather. There's nobody around, so there's nobody to bug them or get in the way. It's totally quiet. They can't hear really any animals. There's not even really any wind that night. It is just a really nice, peaceful night as they walk along the sidewalks of this town. And so they're sort of passing behind one apartment complex, and they're going to the next apartment complex, just like I said, passing by on the sidewalk. And in between these apartment complexes, there is this tree. And both of them, out of the corner of their eye, see something in this tree. They can't tell exactly what it is, and so it sort of moves and catches their attention. And so they shift and turn and look, and as their eyes adjust, they can't see anything. They see the tree, they see the buildings. There's not really anywhere for anything to have run off and hidden. There's no space for that. And so they talk about that they both saw this, and they're kind of having a conversation about what could it be. It looked pretty big, enough to catch their attention. And so after a couple minutes of discussion, they decide that it must have been some kind of trick of the light. Some sort of the moonlight bounced off of a window of the apartment complex and shined weird. Something like that, because as they're watching, there's nothing in this tree. There are no animals. Like I said, there's no wind that could have rustled the branches. It must have been the trick of light. What else could it be? And so they just kind of resume their conversation, and then they continue to walk again. And as they're walking, there's suddenly this weird noise. Now, if you've ever played the video game franchise Silent Hill, this will sound familiar to you. As they're walking, in the air, there's suddenly this sort of like static, humming, ringing noise that just sort of emits. Now, in the video game, it comes from a pocket radio. But for Jan and Anna, it just sort of was in the air. This weird humming, ringing noise. It sort of permeated everything. But they continue to walk and talk, and they're sort of talking about how strange it is. And then suddenly, Anna stops, and she looks over behind Jan to something he can't see. And she freezes in terror. and she's looking at this creature, and it is crawling up and across this tree, and she gets this great look at it. This thing is tall and long. It's completely white, like pale white, and sort of humanoid looking. It has 2 arms, 2 legs, but the arms are overly long and sinuous. In fact, the arms are longer than the legs. It has this huge bulbous head that's too big for its body, and it's slightly pointed, and she can see this creature as it crawls across the trees. It's got these long legs, and then its feet, they're almost like hands, how they grip the trunk as it's moving across these trees. It's completely hairless and completely naked and completely laid out in front of her. There's nothing obscuring this creature as it crawls with this crazy fast, sinuous speed across this tree line. I mean, it's crawling up and across it with ease. And so she takes one look at this huge creature, and she screams, turns, and runs away. She doesn't even say what she saw or anything. And so Jan, he sees this whole interaction, which only takes like a second or two, and then he starts running. He doesn't even look back. He just starts running, because whatever scared Anna so bad, it must be something dangerous for her not to even said anything. And so Jan, he starts taking off after her. And as he's running after Anna, trying to catch up to her, he's hearing this pounding, ringing, staticky sound in his ear. And then off to the side, he can see something crawling across the trees to his right. And it's moving fast, almost as fast as they are, and they're running across the ground. And this thing is crawling and jumping from tree to tree. Now, he only sees this out of the peripheral of his vision, because he has tunnel vision. He is running, and eventually he catches up to Anna, and the two of them run all the way back to his house. And they get in, and they slam the door, and they lock it, and now they're talking to each other. And, you know, remember, Jan, he's heard this weird buzzing. He saw something at first on that tree, and then he saw something on the peripheral, but he has not gotten a good look at this thing. And so he tells Anna, like, what are you doing? Like, I saw something, but what made you turn and run away like that? And Anna, she describes this creature, this terrifying, sinuous, skeletal, humanoid creature that can't possibly be human and can't even possibly be real. Like, they can't even believe what they just witnessed. And she's terrified. And Anna's like, I am not going back outside. And so Anna and Jan, they spend the next couple hours just searching the internet. What could this thing be? And still, they don't have answers. They've seen a dozen different things. It could be a crawler, a rake, a skinwalker. Heck, it could be a frickin' vampire. They don't even know. All they know is they were out on a date at midnight in a quiet town of less than 20,000 people. And somehow they saw a nightmare monster crawling after them in the trees. And so that's going to do it for today's story. If you found yourself enjoying this or any of the stories on my channel, first-hand, true accounts of the supernatural, paranormal, things that go bump in the night, then allow the spirits to guide your planchette to both the like and subscribe button as well as the notification bell. That way you get notified when I upload new content, and I do these longer videos Monday and Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern, and then I also do shorts throughout the week. And second, like I mentioned, all my stories, they're true first-hand accounts of the supernatural and paranormal. So I am always on the lookout for great stories. So if you or anybody you know has a story that you think would fit well on my channel, just reach out to me on any of my social media, and we'll find time to get together, collect your story, and potentially one day feature it here on The Orator. And so until next time, where you may pull up your chair and settle in, the fire will be stoked, and I'll have another tale to tell.